A few days into the new year, I drove up to Wakayama City to go hiking on an island called Tomogashima. It's not a very big place, about 3 kilometers by 1.5, kind of shaped like a shrimp. But it gets a lot of traffic, and if you're visiting on the weekend, you'll be sharing the 20-minute ferry ride with a lot of other people. The reasons for Tomogashima's popularity go back to the latter half of the 19th century. At this point, Japan has only recently been fully open to the international community, and what Western powers are doing in China and Southeast Asia doesn't exactly fill them with confidence. So the government fortifies several positions along the coast against any foreign attackers. Tomogashima was one of those. Since Tomogashima was now a military base, it was illegal for regular citizens to go ashore there. And during World War II, security was ramped up even higher. Tomogashima's very existence was deleted from official maps, which probably wasn't very effective since you can easily see it from the coast. Anyway, the soldiers stationed on Tomogashima prepared for an Allied invasion that never came. And after the war ended, they took all their equipment and went home. But the facilities, the bunkers, the barracks, the batteries, and other things that begin with B, were all left to the mercy of weather and time. And most of them are still there. Tomogashima is one of several spots in Japan that's known as a daputa, which basically means crumbling stone ruins gradually being retaken by nature. Daputa are named after the floating city in the wildly popular Studio Ghibli movie Castle in the Sky from 1986. My personal touchstone for Tomogashima, though, is not Castle in the Sky, but rather the actually really good up until the last season TV show Lost. You have several distinct installations scattered across a mysterious island, menacing black pillars, and a surprising number of people on such a small island. This wasn't my first visit to Tomogashima, but what struck me the first time I went hiking there was just how large it felt. It isn't really a big place. You can hit all the most popular spots in a couple of hours. On my first trip, and this one as well, my first stop was the highest point of the island. From there, I could survey the surroundings. To the east, on a lower outcropping of rock, was a lighthouse. I know now that those 2 points aren't actually very far apart. It's maybe an hour and a half to the lighthouse if you stop to see everything in between. And it's less than a kilometer as the crow flies. But in between the highest point of Tomogashima and the lighthouse are half a dozen different crumbling brick buildings, any number of enticing detours, and constant ups and downs on the trail. So when you finally get to that lighthouse, and look west up at the hill you were on earlier, it feels like you've accomplished some lengthy journey. When you sit down on top of a metal gunport and have a nice long drink of water, it feels like you've earned it. One of the places in between the tallest point and the lighthouse is the most photographed spot on the island, the ruins of the third battery. This stone corridor has appeared in several movies and TV shows, and it's been an inspiration for several more. This is the kind of thing people mean when they say daputa. The trees threatening to reclaim the bricks, vines hanging down over the archways, half-collapsed buildings betraying only hints of their original purpose. Pitch-dark tunnels connecting the buildings to the battery sites. As you might be able to tell from the black screen you're watching, it is very, very dark inside these tunnels. A headlamp or a phone flashlight is absolutely required. If you take the same route around the west half of the island as I did, there's one final surprise on the way back to the ferry pier. There's no half-collapsed military sites on the northern coast. Instead, there's more modern, civilian ruins. Several hotels, campgrounds, and inns have all tried to make it on Tomogashima. And they did. For a while. But now there's only one left. And the skeletal remains of those left behind are as much a part of the story of Tomogashima as the lighthouses and listening stations. A lot of people come to Tomogashima every day, and once you get off the boat, the central plaza gets pretty crowded. But everybody walks at a different pace, and takes pictures at a different pace, and so before long, you can find yourself pretty isolated. There's never the total illusion that you're poring over the ruins of some secretive experiments. For one thing, Tomogashima lies under an approach vector for Kansai Airport. And for another, you're walking on well-maintained trails adorned with markers telling you how far it is to the next attraction, and signs reminding you to carry out your trash. But despite all those distractions, Tomogashima still feels like some kind of frontier. It may be a popular hiking destination, but it still feels like a well-kept secret.